Alright lads, so today we are jumping into the new Nightmare Captain Guild quest where we have access to 4 extra wave levels to do. We're going to be trying out 2 different teams today. Both teams though are going to be consisting of 1000 Year Blood War BANKAI SENJUMARU. Now the Melee Captain Guild quest really only has access to like 2 good leads in all honesty, Yachiru and also Senjumaru, but I would like to hope that most people do have access to these characters. You know, Yachiru was featured during the 8th anniversary part 2. Everyone that was playing at the time pulled on that, right? And at the same time, Yachiru has returned quite often during big banners. Speaking of big banners, Senjumaru was featured on the end of year. Again, another must summon for like majority of the player base. So hopefully you do have them. If you do, you can make both of them work. When it comes to the auto-played characters, we have access to a few NAD characters. Abirama, Yuha Bak, Gin, and also Toshiro. The best 2 being Gin and also Toshiro. Gin was recently featured after coming out at the start of the year on the Okura and also Full Hollow banner. And then Toshiro also returned, I think, during... It was end of year banner again too. Now I guess the good thing about Yachiru as a character and the way she works with Senjumaru is that you can use both as a main and both as a side, because you are seeing Senjumaru be used as a side. For our first team though, we are going to use Senjumaru as a side. And the reason why we can do this and why we want to use Yachiru first and foremost, one is because I have a max transcended. But also the way Yachiru does work is that she doesn't have an increased status on enchant, but her SA3 trap effect, if we place manually, is going to give us that really good chance to apply weakening, where both us and Senjumaru are doing 50% more damage. The way Senjumaru works, right? You know, her ES skill would be great to have as a main, but her damage output is good enough. She has good strong attacks to group and damage a lot of enemies. But because Senjumaru has status element plus, both Yachiru and Senju can reliably get their spiritual pressure boost. And because we are using 2 Soripers, of course with that we are going to use Tenjiro. And Tenjiro's here for the boost effect on the SA2, a 43% attack and focus increase, and then with that, we're also doing 30% more damage. He is returning for the first time in this upcoming end of month banner, and hopefully you can get him there, because anytime you're using Soripers, you want to use Tenjiro. So with that said, the way we are using Yachiru today is these 3 accessories, all going 30% spiritual pressure because I do have a max transcended. We're going with these 3 particular soul traits, and bonus abilities I believe are full stamina, if I can find it. Full stamina damage. I have 200 SP, but I'm going to change that right now to damage to weakened enemies. Because yeah, in this case, damage to weakened enemies will actually be better for us, since it is 20% more damage, and likely we're going to inflict that spiritual pressure boost. But when it comes to Senjumaru's build, we're going with very similar accessories. In this case, we are using the Misanga Plus, because that is giving 35%. With Yachiru, for the record, you just don't need the Misanga, because the killer is giving 40%, and Yachiru has both Soripa and Captain Killer. For links, we're going with these 3 links. She is special level 2, so level 11 SP, a level 11 focus, with full stamina damage, and I probably should again go with damage to weaken, but we're just going to do 200 SP in case she hits the enemy first. And then Tenjiro, his build doesn't matter. The only important thing here is that we are using the Mugetsu Soul Trait. So with that said, let's jump into it. Can we actually beat it first attempt? Because this team is probably the best thing that you can bring if it goes well. It might require a bit of resets, but we'll see how it does go. So we're going to instantly use our SA3 in the middle, like that for example. Normally you want a one-shot into Sergeant. We use the SA2. Into Shunt, we solve them downwards into the SA1. Hopefully kill it with the SA2. Basically did actually very well there. And then SA3 into the SA1. And a very easy 52-second remaining. And that's because this team works mainly because of Senju too, right? If she actually does that extra damage, it goes very well. Now with Senju, for us personally, she can just lock the enemies in place. So she's actually really good for the extra stages, even though we're not doing most damage here. But we can apply weakening. And we can apply the weakening on top of the fact that Senjumaru just applied the freeze effect. Let's back up. Just keep our distance. We don't want to take any damage. If we do, though, it's fine. But look at Senjumaru go. Like, she hasn't taken any damage. And she's an auto-controlled character with no barriers. Like, Senjumaru is so insane. I really like this character. Would have loved if she wasn't tied to guild quests. She's one of the few characters I think should have been not given Guild Quest skills, but hey, it does make it better in Guild Quest. And look at that, for our very first attempt, no need to even reset. We got a 52-second play time, so the team does seem very consistent. It's definitely something I recommend trying to do, but you might need a max transcended Yachiru. I'm not sure how good this team would be without a max transcended Yachiru. If you don't and you have Senjumaru, you're better off just using Senjumaru as a main. Because again, we'll try her in a second, right? Maybe I should have actually used the strong attack there instead of Senjumaru, because does she have an attack now that can take out Shinsui? Yeah, unfortunately she didn't. It's fine though, we'll keep it going. We actually got the weakening proc there. That was quite fortunate. You also want to get that when the run's going better, but it seems like 2 strong attacks is enough to take down the 4th boss. So what was that score there? This team can get higher if it goes perfect. I'm not going to reset for that. At least in this video, I'll do my own time. Because honestly, I'm pretty happy with 52 seconds. And the fact that we were able to get that first attempt is actually really cool. So Senjumaru inflicted the lacerate. Let's bring the Retsu in. Wait, is it a different boss now? Okay. I didn't know that. I thought it was the same boss. Was it not Kenpachi? That's pretty cool though, that I guess it changes. Look at Maz. Unless it wasn't Kenpachi and I didn't realize. We'll check after, I guess. And then finish up with the SA2. And then SA1. So yeah, also pretty cool that we don't need any normal attack damage characters. You know, with these new extra levels now, the enemies themselves have a lot of HP, where normal attack damage characters reign a bit more supreme. You know, because they can do consistent damage output, also more likely to stay alive. I think Senjumaru is a rare case here because she has the lacerate, the freeze, the paralysis. So it's always cool to see teams like this that don't consist of a normal attack damage character, besides Tenjiro, but he's not here to do damage, still get very high scores. And in a way, that's always been the progression of Guild Quest metas, especially when we got the, you know, new 5-wave addition after that changed. You know, because Guild Quest used to play a lot different. But the meta was always, you know, use 1 SP character. Oh, look at that. That would have been perfect. Wow. But the meta's always been use 1 SP character and 2 normal attack damage characters. Until the characters get good enough, where at that point you'd rather just go with 2 spiritual pressure units, right? Now, that run, unfortunately, could have been very good. Like, we actually soul-bombed all the way through that 3rd wave. Because Senjumaru did use the strong attack at the right time. We want to see that more often. But this is going to be our last run with this team. I think I showed it good enough, right? Can get higher, but 52 seconds is great. Just using 2 spiritual pressure units, mainly consisting of the fact that Senjumaru works as a very good side. But also what we're about to demonstrate, how to be a very good lead. And the best part is the team that we are about to use, damn, it's still going. You can actually build that team if you summoned on the end of year banner. So, slowly but surely, we're taking down Retsu with plenty of time to spare. 18 seconds, not too bad. So, going into our next team, this is what it is looking like. So, we're using Senjumaru with also Toshiro. Both characters were available during the end of year banner. That's how I personally got both of them. Because prior to that banner, I didn't own Toshiro, right? So the way it does work, because we are using 2 power characters, we're then going to now use Mashiro, the Valentine's version, as she does increase our damage by 40% to enemies that are inflicted to a status element if they are a power attribute Soripa. And of course, with that, we have the Ichigo link to get the extra 20% strong attack damage. The links, other links and accessories don't matter. I'm not going to change it. Toshiro is going to be our normal attack damage character and also booster. He's level 10 attack, level 10 focus. Now, the way we're building him, right, you can actually get better than this. So I think the best build for a normal attack damage character would be a golden chappie, a heavy bag, so what Senjumaru is using right now, because this does offer 32% more melee damage, and also a 5-star plus killer effect, Masanga. I don't want to upgrade 2 accessories just for this one team that I'm not always going to use. But like, if you really need that extra damage, you might as well go ahead and do it. I'm fine using the previous team. But yeah, overall, a heavy bag, a Masanga at 5-star plus with a golden chappie would be the better build. For now, though, I'm just going with this. And with that, we're going with normal attack damage and full stamina, just to give him his highest damage in total. With Senjumaru, it's the exact same. Luckily for her, we don't need to change anything. But I'll be honest, I'm not really sure on attack pattern, so let's see how this does go. We'll probably just start off using our SA3. One-shotting that, that's actually really good. Let's SA2, or SA1 into the 2. One enemy got left behind. That's fine, though. Let's go here. SA1. Might as well use the EX. That wasn't that great. Going into Senju or Retsu. Damn, okay. This is actually really good. I guess we'll Soul Bomb here. And then SA2. Finish up with the SA1. You can see the potential. I just need to learn an attack pad. But even though that run went very badly, we still got 44 seconds remaining. Senju, of course, is just an absolute beast in this guild quest. And then Toshiro. In a case like this, you know, we can just stop the enemy in place. And let Toshiro deal all the damage. And that's when normal attack damage characters, you know, reign supreme a bit. Despite this guild quest phase actually having speed characters as the final 4 bosses, you know. You know, Toshiro's still doing some good damage. I'm kind of holding out my strong attacks just to get that SA1 and 2 off when we can inflict a status element to pause the enemy. At this point, we might as well spam it. We have the EX attack come back in time too, so if it does get too close to the timer, we can just use it now and deal more damage. So it looks like Toshiro and also Senju combined are still capable of beating all 5 waves. Oh, sorry, all 4 extra levels. Not 5 just yet. And this is this team at its worst, right? Because the 4 extra levels are all speed enemies. But even with that, a mono power team was still actually able to beat it and beat it pretty fast. At least beat the first 5 waves fast, right? So let's try that again. Can we actually still one-shot? With the Frenzy 3, yeah, it's like you're always going to be consistently doing that. SA2. Let's SA1, then Soul Bomb. Then EX. Unfortunately, just missed again. Maybe I shouldn't use the EX there, but with the EX and the SA3, we likely just, yeah, 2-shot there. Or 1-shot that. And then almost a 49. Almost a 50. That's not too bad. We'll keep trying that first 5 initial waves, because we've already proven that we can beat the first 4 extra levels. But I think Senjumaru overall is, again, a very consistent character when it comes to Guild Quest content. Again, I really like the idea that she does have all these different status elements. And all 3 strong attacks here stop the enemy from dealing an attack, right? The SA3 is lacerate, so the enemy will move, but they won't deal any damage. They can't use a strong attack. The SA2, of course, paralyzes them, and the SA1 does freeze them. Now, if taking damage to the run's basically ruined, I will keep it going. I guess we can demonstrate a bad run. Might as well sub him here. I kind of wish the sub him wasn't drained. But I guess it's probably for the best. Because I would love for the Sobom to not push back the enemies. And had it been able to inflict freeze or paralysis, it would have done that. But then again, having Drain on a strong attack 1, 2, or 3 wouldn't have been nearly as good. Because I think she has the 3 best status elements across her 3 strong attacks. But we have 2 more tickets, so we might as well use them all up today, finishing up with this team. SA3 goes off. Didn't quite one-shot because we didn't get this status proc right away. That slowed us down a tad bit. Can we get everyone together? SA2. Into the 1. Might as well use our 3 here. Into the 1. Do we even get a time to use the EX? Guess we can use it now. And I took damage again. Not the best run once more. But we're just going for clears. I think I'm pretty happy with my scores thus far. At least for our first day. And you know what? We might as well finish up here. Might as well finish up here. Already back up to full stamina thanks to the heal that we do get. Likewise with Toshiro. And let's just spam our attacks. Because the stats procs do go on top of each other. So the boss can never hit. So that just goes to show how good Senju is, right? As a main or a side. And you know, if Toshiro can inflict freeze, that's even better. You just never give it the enemy a chance to attack. That's a 3, 1. Again, can't even see what's going on right now, but the boss just can't attack. And with that, we actually clear with plenty of time to spare. 20 seconds, because this time around, I didn't hold back on any strong attacks. So yeah, overall, Senjumaru, to no one's surprise, we've already demonstrated that in the past, but even now with the 2 extra levels, at her worst, because they are speed characters, is still an absolute beast when it comes to Guild Quest content. As a main, like we demonstrated just now, didn't get the highest score, but you can see the potential, and also as a side too, right? You can use her as a side, that's what we did, and the best team from what I've seen consists of Senjumaru as a side. And that also just goes to show how good she is, but also how well Yachiru has also aged, which I think is the great thing, because she's quite, I don't say she's common, she's not common, but she's been in like 3 massive banners since she has become a filler after a year's time because we got her as a filler during the 9th anime. But yeah, in general, Yachiru is one of the better aging characters too. The fact that we're still using her as a main, despite Senjumaru existing, I think is really cool. I gotta say though, is this not weird? Why are people using these characters? Like, Ririka's here with Ichigo? Has something messed up here? Because no one's even using true Shikai Ichigo, which is quite surprising. Ichigo's still pretty good in GQ, so I feel like something messed up here for these two characters to be appearing. Because true Shikai should be in the top 10, like there's still people using him, and he's actually technically gotten better now to a certain extent, because you can pair him with, again, Toshiro, and you can even use Gin now. You can go with the traditional, you know, 1 SP unit that can stop the enemy from attacking with the lacerate, and then you have two good characters here, Toshiro that can apply the freeze, Gin that can just do normal attack damage, and both good normal attack damage too. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys next time. Take care, and peace.